Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm your host, Bob DeMarco. Coming up, we talk about Rick Hinderer ceremoniously assembling his first auto knife in celebration of a great new Ohio knife law. We talk about traveling with one L outside of the United States and in the United States with a knife. And of course, we spin the wheel of destiny tonight and decide which gentleman junkie will get thisy here, this beautiful Kubi Raven, donated to us by our good friend Dave at this Old Sword Blade Reviews. So we're going to do that in just a minute. But as always, I prefer to break the ice by showing off. And so I'm going to show you what I was carrying today. And if anyone was watching on Instagram, looking at Instagram today and saw the picture I posted, that indeed was what I was carrying. And so I will show those of you who weren't watching or looking or viewing. Or what's up, Rockstoff? Thank you for rescuing from myself. Monster Racer of Racing, always good to have you here, sir. Ben, how's it going, sir? Great to have you as well. He's been putting some of those crazy TC Barlows up with the square blades. Can't remember what that's called. Ram's foot. Michael Morgan, great to have you here too, sir. And Manny Z. Manny Z is in the house. James Moore, here he is. Great to have you. Some beautiful blades over there, James. Hello, Chris. We have Blade Ogre. Great to have you here, sir. What were you all carrying today? Hey, Dave. How's it going, sir? Dave and I were just showing off some of our new acquisitions to one another before. I cannot wait to see the thing that he got, and I cannot wait to borrow it. Did I say that out loud? Beautiful, beautiful knife. Something I've been coveting recently. And he knew that he was going to inflict some blade envy on me, and indeed he did. Hey, Martin, how's it going, sir? Great to have you here. Good luck to all y'all. All y'all. Like I've been living in Virginia for like 10 years, and I'm saying all y'all. Hey, what's up, Joe? Great to have you here. Great podcast with Joe and Dave recently over the past 2 weeks. Check them out. Knife Junkie interview show. We have Chris Wolf, also a gentleman junkie. Great to have you, Chris. I bid you all good luck. We will get to the Wheel of Destiny shortly to find out who gets this positively awesome Kubi Raven. I think I might just join Patreon as a gentleman junkie on this very same night so that I have a chance to win this thing, because I've really kind of fallen for it in its beautiful green burlap micarta glory with that classy pivot. And zero billboarding on this side. And of course, the Jelly Jerry maker's mark on that side. Very cool knife. But before we get to that, one that's actually kind of similar, and I'm going to put it down next to it. And no, it's not the Bad Monkey. I always talk about how the back strap on this knife reminds me of the Bad Monkey with that curve on the back of the handle, which I'm not crazy about on the Bad Monkey. But on this, they make it work with this thumb swale here. Are you all seeing a delay like I'm seeing a delay? Maybe so. Maybe the internet gods are laughing at us tonight. Not sure. But today, my main carry, my front right pocket carry, was this beautiful knife that I've had for quite a while. At one point, it was the flagship of my collection, and it is this Zero Tolerance 0452 CF. Now that's not too many letters. You start getting into the bronze and the blues and the blacks that they make, and the letters keep piling on. Hey, how's it going? Great to have you here, sir. We have Stephen Patty's Potato Peelers. Great to have you here, sir. So today my main carry was this. I just think this is a beautiful knife. I think Sinkovich is an incredible designer. I think he shines the most when he's doing these kind of slender, not sinuous, what's the word? Long sort of slender knives like this, and the, I can't remember the name of the other one that he did with ZT that was kind of curved and upswept and kind of Persian-y with the red carbon fiber. I had that one for a while, and I ended up selling it to get something else, but I did like that. Thank you, sir. I assume you're talking about this fantastic knife in my hand at the moment. And I can even tolerate this carbon fiber, even though it's the kind I don't really care for, with the very regular pattern, regular weave. I like that fat carbon. That is beautiful stuff. And then some of the other, more irregularly patterned carbon fibers, like the marble carbon fiber and such. Love those. This is kind of a turnoff most of the time, but on this knife, maybe just because this knife has a little bit of sentimental value because it's been around long enough, I really do like it. Look at that nice long, just over 4-inch blade. I do love that. I do love that. Let's see here. What else did I have? Because, a man can't get, man, woman, whatever, knife junkie cannot get along on one knife. Because, what happens if something happens to this knife? What am I going to do for all of these cutting chores that come up? Just cutting chore after cutting chore. I thought I was done with chores, but there's always something to cut. That is actually a joke. I actually didn't cut anything today, not even a bagel. So these were just to fiddle with while I was at my desk working hard. Second is this. I have fallen in love with this knife. I guess I fell in love with it when I first saw it, and so felt moved to buy it. But this is the third iteration of the Pilar, and I'm going to put it in front of the main camera for a second. See if the other camera clears up a bit. This is the Pilar 3. The Pilar 3. What a fantastic knife. Now, this one is the 8CR13 MOV version. And you can tell by the silvery backstrap here. Silver in color there, not in actual material. That would be kind of cool if it were 925 stainless. Or not stainless, what do they call it? Sterling. You got the beautiful loop over pocket clip with no screws protruding up into the pocket well there, and you have the ball bearings. My shoulder is it's getting better, but weird things like reaching for a pencil with the other shoulder. This is the good one. Like at my desk at work or something, like just weird positions that I'm not expecting send shooting pains. But this morning was my first morning attempting exercise since I did that. And, I was a little squeamish with it, but thank you for asking. I appreciate it. So this Pilar 3 is a great knife. And actually I did cut something open with it when I got home, which I'm going to be showing you later. It's an amazing, cool, sweet little knife that I lucked into getting. Someone offered it to me. It hasn't even come out yet. This is not something that happens to me regularly, so it was very exciting. A lot of the channels, hey, Mark, great to have you here. Fine group of people already here tonight. I would agree with you, and hope you're doing well too, sir. Yeah, I did cut something open with this thing today, and it was this nice knife that I'm going to show you later that I got before anyone else so far, I think. And that is a very rare occasion for me. Usually, a lot of the people we admire here on this channel, you know who they are. They get knives before other people get knives. They get offered, hey, man, would you like to check out this knife before we roll it out? Well, I got that opportunity, and I snatched it up. Of course, it wasn't for free, but I wasn't expecting it for free. The fact that I got it early, to me, is an honor, and it's beautiful, and I can't wait to show it to you, but I'm going to wait. So yeah, CRKT Pilar 3 was on me. And then today, I don't know why, I just opened my junk drawer. I have in my dresser, I have a junk drawer. It's actually filled with knives and, cheap flashlights that actual torch collectors would bristle at, but that kind of thing, pens and little accoutrement. And I opened up that drawer, and this thing jumped out at me, and I thought, I have to carry this today. And it is my Case Mini Sodbuster in yellow Delrin and CV. That's the chrome vanadium steel. I'm having trouble with this camera. I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on. And in the meantime, I'm going to show this to you here on this camera. So this has a quite nice patina built up on it. That has, it's not really a forced patina. It wasn't like I did it quickly and just, it was through food use. I cut food, apples with this, knowing, and then I don't clean it off immediately, knowing that it will have an effect, a patinaing effect on the blade. And Hit that like button, folks. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you want to know when my videos come out immediately. Hey, Monster. Everyone, please show appreciation. I love this. Thank you, guys. Thank you. You're good reminders. Just like how Jim floats up graphics to remind me to say stuff. You guys are helping me. Thank you. I appreciate that. The cool thing about this Sodbuster, cool thing, some people might not think so, but no half stop. And that is it's unusual these days. Mostly people want that half stop. Manufacturers know that. So you get it on most of these kind of knives these days, but this one doesn't. And I kind of like it. It's kind of a, you better be prepared when you close that knife. It just might snap on your finger if you're not paying attention. That yellow Delrin, I love. To me, it looks very old fashioned. And it does have that yellow look to me. So yeah, I cut an apple with that today at lunchtime. So I guess it is untrue if I say I didn't do any cutting. I did a little bit of cutting today. Hang on a sec. Let me see if this works. Leave. And now I'll come back in, see if I can do this while I'm talking to you guys. I'm going to close these up. Let me know what you were carrying today in your pockets. I'm sure it wasn't just one knife. And I know there are some people, Wallaby, I know he was carrying his Eldris, right? There are a couple of people, and the Monster was carrying his Tinker along with something else. Michael says, I like that you can just grab it without the nail neck. I do too, because it gives you options. And sometimes the nail neck, hey, Nav Sergeant, good to have you here, sir. Oh, do you like that? It just kind of saluted kind of subconsciously from your name, I think. It adds something to it. Sodbuster gets a pass. Is that like you'll pass on the Sodbuster, or you think it's an interesting, I guess that means you're passing on it. You can tell it's a real Sodbuster because the pin is fat. It's a large pin. When you get a jigged bone case Sodbuster, they put this little tiny pin. It's so that the bone around the edges of the big pin don't crack. And that's why they do it in the bone. But that technically kind of takes away some of its actual Sodbusterness, since it's supposed to be a pretty rugged knife. That big pin helps it from moving. It gets a pass for not having a half stop. I would never pass on a Sodbuster. I got you. I'm sure you've got several of the Sodbuster GECs, GEC styles. Forgive me for just a moment here. I'm going to do this. This is just how we roll here. So let me see here. So today, as you know, we are going to be talking about the traveling with knives. As you may have known, if you watched the recent podcast, I just recently took a trip with my family. Well, last week to Florida. To Florida, some people say Florida, and it was a great trip. We had a wonderful time. I love Florida. I love their knife laws. Believe you me, it's awesome. And we went to an undisclosed theme park and had a blast. But the whole time I was kind of concerned about what am I gonna carry? What kind of knives do I need to bring? And of course, it's very important to consider these things. I mean, heck, even when we went to Punta Cana, I brought a knife probably much bigger than necessary. And, it's kind of sketchy to go to a foreign country where you don't have any idea or any clue of the knife laws, and you carry a knife. So taking unnecessary chances, perhaps. Let's see, does that work? Still getting that weird after all of that. Still getting that weird stuttering video. I'm not sure what's up tonight. Maybe it's something with my internet. I don't know. But we will go back and forth with this camera, and we'll see. We'll keep checking in. So yeah, I want to hear about your knife travel stories or strategies? What do you do when you go somewhere? Do you look up the knife laws? I did this for Florida. I've never done that before. Really, I should have done it for North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, but I didn't. Maybe I just assumed they'd be, cool because they're in the South, but I don't know. That's, I guess Virginia is technically in the South, but cool isn't exactly how I would characterize the knife laws here. So there you have it. Want to hear all about that. So I've shown you the Kubi Raven. That is the knife that is on offer. Not on offer. That's the knife for you gentlemen junkies to win tonight. It is a sweet honey of a knife. And if you've never had a Kubi or held a Kubi, and I had not before this, before Dave very generously sent this over here, I thought it was just kind of going to be not very interesting and cheap. And I got it in hand and I was like, oh, I didn't know Kubi made like upscale models. And because of the feel and the build of this thing is amazing. And the materials, yeah, that beautiful micarta handle is just so gorgeous. And I was sure this was an expensive knife. It's not that expensive a knife. You've got the milled titanium clip. You've got the hidden lanyard post or the discrete lanyard post, and the no billboarding on this side. Very, very thin and slicey blade and thinly ground. And to me, I don't know, that blade looks like a dinosaur or a large bird of prey or maybe a bird of carrion. It kind of looks like vulture-esque or something. I don't know. What do you think? I just think it's interesting. And this handle, comfort to beat the band. Dirk, how's it going, sir? Great to have you here. I'm actually traveling next week, but within the US. So, okay. All right. So anything goes? I don't know. I'm wondering, Dirk, what does the so mean? You're going from, maybe you're leaving the state. I'm not sure. I know California has some pretty restrictive laws. For inside the US, I take what I would normally carry for the type of day I'm having. Okay. All right. That works. That works for me. It's reasonable. And always remember that if you have to, you just have to be quiet. I live in God's own country. Why travel? To see how the rest of us live. Really. I mean, you can't always be in God's country. You have to see what other people have to suffer through. I have been to Ireland. My sister spent a year in Galway, and I went to Dublin, Howth, and Bray when I was in 8th grade. That's a long time ago. And I loved it. I loved Ireland. I thought for a while, I'm definitely going to move here. And I love the way people spoke. And at the time, they did a lot of yes on the inhale. Yes, yes, yes. And I thought that was so cool. And I tried to affect it. And it just sounded so stupid for a suburban kid from Cleveland and try and speak like that thing they did at the time. I'm sure that was just a trend of speech at the time. But Patty, I love it over there. I know you're up north, I think. Stay safe. Sean T. First of all, wonderful to have you, Sean. And thanks for commenting. I look up to the knife laws in Delaware before I went. Ended up meeting a guy who had a Chavez and a great combo about knives. How cool is that? See, that's one of those things. Did you spot the clip? Did you spot the skull clip coming out of his pocket and kind of come up and say, hey, what's up? I'm curious about that because I'm always identifying knives by clips. Usually it's, when you see a tip down knife, you can tell with a clip and you see the pivot in the clip, you're like, most likely that's cheap. And you look at it, is it a Spyderco military or is it a SOCOM elite? And if it's neither of those, I don't want to know. Chris Wolf says, Canada here, knife laws are very similar to the UK. Sorry to hear that, Chris. Can you go back to, Jim, if you would, can you go back to Dirk's comment? He said something about Kubis. Michael loves his Kubi. That's cool. I'm going to have to get one, actually. I'm not sure which one to get because they're awful. There are a lot of awful cool ones. I was just looking for something Kubi makes some good stuff. Dave, let me check that one out as well. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's a real solid piece. It's very nice and not too heavy either. Hey, Lavender Pants. Hey, I made it. Love the shirt, Bob. Wore it all day. Awesome. Thank you. He sent me a beautiful picture of a custom Wells he recently designed and had made. But if you remember, Lavender Pants won the T-shirt a couple weeks back when I randomly pulled out a Dogs of War reference line, and he got it immediately. And we determined it must be something about Ohio. Coming from Ohio, that must have been a popular movie, though I think I am many years his senior. It just must be a popular movie in Ohio in general. Dave says, when I travel, I carry a cane and wear my old man hat, look unthreatening and keep to myself. Then I carry what I like, unless you're going to x-ray me. That is that's a great idea. I like that. That's, I think it's important. Let's see. I took a couple of seminars with a pretty respected Jeet Kune Do guy in this area, and damn it, his name escapes me now. But he's a pretty big guy in that realm, and he is the same way. Like he'll walk in a room and look terribly unassuming on purpose, and then like but that's on purpose, so he's not drawing attention to himself. And so that kind of, because a lot of the times it seems like if you just are big or you look tough or you have a tough man vibe, other guys want to test themselves with you. And so I think what Dave does is cool. And if anyone steps to him thinking, I'm going to take this old man out, well, they're going to have another thing coming when Dave unleashes hell upon them. Maybe that cane has a sword in it too, but maybe not. What was that last one, Jim? If you don't mind, if you haven't, I know I asked Jim to pop these graphics back up, but I know they're coming in, and it's a lot to go back. And Sean T says, "Yep, he had the Chavez keychain bottle opener on his desk, and I asked if that's a Chavez. Then he whipped out his knife, skull clip and all, and I showed him my Sebenza. Awesome. I love those kind of stories. Two random strangers coming together over bladed objects. That's kind of what this show is, except you're not random strangers at this point. Yeah, you're all friends of the show, and I love that because I'm a converted man. There were many, many, many years until we started this where I thought the whole concept of internet friends was just a false thing, a fallacy, I guess is what that is. And I was like, how can, that's just not, but it's true. I've met so many great people through this. And in a few weeks, I'm going to get to shake a lot of your hands if you're going to Blade Show, because today I booked my hotel room, and I'm very, very excited, and quite possibly Jim may be coming too, which would be awesome to have the whole crew there. The junkie, the knife junkie is going to Blade. Yeah, I'm really excited. And I'm not going to bring a lot of money to buy knives. I might not buy one knife while I'm there. That might be an exercise in discipline. Yeah. We'll see how that works. But to me, it's like, if you bring $1 to spend on a knife, you may as well bring $10,000 to bring on to spend on a knife. How do you decide unless you have one thing in particular? Like, it would be kind of cool to enter the, yeah, sure, Bob. Thank you. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Jim. It would be cool to get involved in the, Emerson Lotto and win something. Win the chance to buy something for a lot of money. That would be cool. Internet friends are the best. I don't even have any real life friends anymore. I know. Yeah, I know that feeling. Hollywood Tactical says, is it in Long Beach? Blade Show West, perhaps. I don't know. I'm going to Blade Show East in Hotlanta. That's how we cool people say it. Hotlanta, or at least that's how they said it in like 1999 when I was working at Warner Brothers. Hotlanta. So that was a while ago. I'm to understand. It's funny. Well, I won't go down that rabbit hole. What do you say? Shall we spin this wheel? Let's get this Kubi Raven 1. Let's get it 1. All right, I got to get it out. See, that hurt. Just reaching in that way hurt. So let's get this thing in the hands of one of you gentlemen junkies. And now, Gentleman Junkie is just a level of support. There is the tactical junkie, and then there's the traditional junkie. And by the way, we have a new traditional junkie this very week, and I'd love to mention his name. I will mention his name on the midweek supplemental podcast as well. But we have that guy there who has commented on this show before, and he's commented in my videos before. And he is a new traditional junkie. And I thank you, sir. I thank you, that guy there. Your stickers will be in the mail tomorrow. And We're just so happy to have you aboard and honored and that you would trade money for this. It's like that's means a lot. So thank you, that guy there. Okay, so I would like to read off the traditional junkies that we're going to be in this on the wheel, because there are several new ones since last we had the wheel up. And this is the list. And I'm going to start with our very first patron. We have Timothy Becker. We have Jock over there in the UK. We have Kevin Seastrom, Reed Martz, Caleb Townsend, Ryan Leitner. You know him as Spirited Blades. We have Edwin Callow. You know him as our resident Emerson expert, Callow PR. We have the great and powerful Mike Latham. I was carrying one of his knives just yesterday, and a guy at work was like, "Oh my God, I must have." And I said, "You cannot. It is a prototype." We have Jesse Tellis, Mr. Faledo. We have Ezekiel Yates and his dad. I know they both watch. Hey guys, how's it going? We have Kurt Kromko, John Ladner, Martin Gamboa, who just left something, a little comment earlier. We have Nick Martino, Jason Edwards, Benjamin Belkin, you know him. We have Joseph Strychars, Chris Wolf, and OG1 Kenobi. And I love saying that. And I love the way he spells it. So thank you, one and all, gentlemen junkies, and you all happen to be gentlemen, but that does not preclude or exclude the ladies. You can still be a gentleman junkie and be a lady. Gentleman just refers to the style of knife, just like traditional junkie and tactical junkie. You get it. You see what I'm doing there. All right, let's do this. Ready, Jim? On the count of 3. 3, 2, 1, let's spin it. We have Nick Martino. Nick, thank you. Thank you so much. And I am saying thank you with this beautiful Kubi Raven. It will be flying your way, literally. Well, actually, it's probably going to get on a truck, but I am going to be sending this beautiful Raven your way tomorrow. I am going to the post office to put a stamp on that guy there's envelope with stickers, and I will be putting this in a priority box and sending it your way. And I will remember to put it in the box to get it to you. Nick Martino is our winner. Nick, thank you. And thank you one and all for participating in the Gentleman Junkie giveaways. It's fun for me to do, and I like giving these knives away. And thank you, Dave, This Old Sword Blade Reviews, for donating this. This is one of 6 knives he's donated to us over the past year. Congrats, Nick, says Monster Racing. Chris Wolf says, nice. Congratulations, Nick. But both of them are kind of gritting their teeth, like it came so close to being me. So next time, stick around next time. And I'm not exactly sure what that knife will be, but it will be something cool. It will be something cool. And I look forward to sending it off to you. Excuse me. Oh, sorry about that. A little bit of salad there. So traveling with knives, that will be the topic. Start letting me know what your strategies are. Start letting me know what your favorite travel knives are. For instance, favorite travel knife, favorite road trip knife is this one right here. The Microtech SOCOM Elite in Tanto. This is a 2012 joint, as Spike Lee would say. It's got that awesome blade shape. I much prefer this blade shape to the current Microtech Tanto on the Elite. Now, the Microtech Tanto on the Ultratech to me is so gorgeous, way better looking than the Tanto on the Troodon, for instance. I don't like a humpback Tanto. I like an upswept Tanto. Manny Z says 45 watching and only 13 likes. You got a bunch of people who are simmering right now. They're like, I can't stand this thing, but I just can't stop watching. It's sort of like a train wreck or something, maybe. So, hey, if you're watching and you're one of those 32, God, I'm terrible at math, who haven't said that they like it, please, say you like it. Put it. what does it hurt? Put a thumbs up and then turn me off. No, don't do that. Be honest, but not terribly honest. Okay, so this is one of my favorite travel knives, and it started that way because of the glass breaker. It was my first knife with a glass breaker when I got this used on blade forums years ago. But I also just love this knife, and it's a great excuse to, no matter what, if I'm driving, long distance in a car, I put this in my pocket. This has awesome ergonomics. This is such a great knife. Microtech, they just make some incredible knives. So let me know what your favorite travel knives are and what you do when you have a trip planned. Do you look at knife laws? Do you pack discreetly? Do you overpack like I do sometimes? Like, oh, but what if I run into this situation and I need, my top Spraith or war bowie? What if we're stranded by the side of the road and we have to hike miles and miles through the woods? I'll be glad I have this knife. Sort of like a train. Thank you. That's a nice quote to be remembered by. So when we were traveling, we brought the pool bag. We have, thank you, EDC Tanto. Oh my gosh. I know you like it. And what do you think about what I just said about the Microtech Tantos? I'd be interested because I've seen your page and you definitely are focused on the Tanto. And I think that's pretty cool. Shredder says that is a gorgeous and mean looking knife. I concur. It is. And it is one of the only tip down acceptable knives out there. And you know what's nice about it? It's starting just through wear, just ever so slightly, starting to show a little wear in the anodized aluminum. I love anodized aluminum, especially when it wears at the corners. I love how it feels in hand, everything about it. On our trip to Florida, we brought the pool bag, knowing we'd be going to a water park and the pool and stuff like that. We like to pack small fixed blades on trips. That's good. It's because you can pass off a small fixed blade as long as it's not too murdery as something. You have no Tantos, James? We got to do something about that. Look at the Sebenza Tanto is awesome, but the little fixed blade knives can really be justified as something you need. We're on a trip, we have tools and stuff, and not tools. We have food and stuff, and we need to cut it. So, maybe you slip in something like this. The Steingraber Performance knives, Shark. Oh boy, I was blanking on that. As opposed to the double-edged Rapid Strike. The Shark looks a little less, threatening. All travel knives on hold if you're going to a museum that scans you in the big cities. Yes. This knife right here, my travel knife that I brought to Punta Cana twice and came down to Florida. It pretty much goes on every trip. And it lives in my Dob kit, and I'm like, because who doesn't need one of these next to their shaving equipment? But this one has spent time in planters outside of museums in both New York and Washington, D.C. So this is a Hale and Hardy knife. And with the Snaggletooth MF on it, it's even better. The Benchmade Proper is my safety go-to. Doesn't raise eyebrows. That's a good one. That is a good one. But Scott, do you bring something that locks? Because you never know when you're stranded by the side of the road and you have to walk miles through the swampy woods to get to another highway to be rescued. The Victorinox Jet Setter. I love the name because it's evocative of like the 60s when jet travel was if you were in the jet set, you were rich and cool and you could get on a jet. I like that name. Colorful handles make folders look less intimidating and more like a tool than a weapon. Agreed. And that's why I got this in pink originally, because I was like, I can always say my wife, this is terrible. I can always say it's my wife's and I didn't know it was on us and gee whiz. But now I realize that's wrong. And that was actually would have been throwing my wife under the bus to try and save my own butt. But that was kind of the thinking that went into buying this color. I love the pink and black. It reminds me of Pinky Tuscadero. So there you go. But this was in our pool. Whoa, this was in our pool bag. Totally unassuming. And listen to this. This is going to make you bristle. Listen. So this is the, this is the old old Kershaw. What the hell is this thing called? Well, you know what it is. It's the thing. Who am I? Oh, come on, man. You know what I'm talking about. It's the thing. You know. But so this rides in the pool bag because it's got a beer opener and bottle opener. And seems like in the summer when we go to the pool, we're always bringing beer with us, and so that's why it was in there. But I forgot, and it was kind of rattling around at the bottom of this pocket. But listen to this from the last time it went to the beach. You hear that action? Oh, yeah. So tonight, well, not tonight. When this show is over, I'm going to go to bed. But sometime soon, I've promised myself I'm going to take this thing apart. Maybe I'll do a video of it. Maybe not. And clean that out. Because that sand, every time I open it and I hear that sand, I imagine it's just cutting, just destroying the inside. Jet Setter is a kind of nice and has no blade. Has no blade. Or do you mean one blade? Was that an autocorrect thing? Jet Setter. I got to look that one up. By the way, I really think, James, I'm concerned now that you don't have a Tanto because there are a lot of different varieties. You don't have to necessarily get the like super faceted kind. You can get something that's more sweepy. I think you need one, and quick. Maybe we'll feature a Tanto at the next giveaway. Dirk says, I don't think I ever left a knife and a planter outside of a location. Might try that depending on what's in my pocket. Well, that's the thing. If you listen to this show early on, or the Knife Junkie podcast early on, hey Quack, how's it going? Don't worry about being late. I'm sure I have a lot more talking in me. Scott says, city no lock or less than, I got you. 3 inches. Suburbs, I have more options for sure. Yeah. And in some places like New York, I don't know what New York is like now, but when I was there, I mean, I have a pretty good idea of what it's like now, but I'm not sure if they're so aggressive on the knife laws. I think they have bigger fish to fry. But when I was there, it was a good idea to hide the clip. And then after I left, I remember reading, like, even if you have something in your pocket that's printing like a knife, you could get hassled. Not sure about the veracity of that, but I believe it. Michael says, no blade on the Jet Setter, scissors and a couple of other tools. Okay, so that wasn't a misspelling on James's part. I wouldn't expect it to be, but I was shocked to hear that a knife had no blade. And that does make sense for the name Jet Setter. You're going to be getting on jet with it. Still, TSA will still palm that and say, okay, you can go with it. Like they did to me once with the Classic. Right after the Classic was allowed to go on, I even showed them on my phone. Look, they loved that. They loved being shown the rules by some random guy. Sean T says, I carried a 940 into an aquarium once and they didn't let me in. Luckily, I was able to put it in my back in my car before they did another pocket check to let me in. Not like I brought a fish. Yeah, a harpoon blade. Ben says, oh dear Lord, that scratches my soul. Yeah. Yeah, I went to I think I've told this story. Stop me if I have. But I went to a Tool concert in Connecticut when they were supporting their album Lateralis. And we parked, and I was with a friend, a non-knife friend, and we walked like, I don't know, 15 minutes to get to the venue, 20 minutes to get to the venue, and we got there. I was shocked that they were, checking for weapons. So I ran back. I ran all the way back. I didn't try the planter idea. Plains Crafter says, I keep the Mora Bushcraft Black and the Leatherman in the trunk. Carried a multi-bladed traditional like a trapper. That's a good idea because you might just get a pass because that trapper might remind the cop of their grandfather. EDC Tanto, everyone should have a Tanto. Plenty of starter Tanto blades. Yeah, that's true. I like the look of the new Civivi, help me here. The new Civivi Tanto, 3.5 inches. Comes, you can get it in a purple handle. Not convinced about the Tantos yet. Think I might rather have a drop point and a pry bar. But I'm willing to listen. Maybe it's just a matter of kind of figuring out which application you would want it for. Like, I think tantos are pretty good work knives, right? You can use that front portion if it's an Americanized tanto. You can use that front portion to scrape. You can use the straightaway on the blade to scrape and cut and all that. I think for you it should be some sort of Chris Reeve because I'm convinced that you're a classy guy, James, and I think it's because your picture here and your pictures online. You've got some really beautiful knives, and I think you might just like that beautiful abrupt faceted tip on the Chris Reeve tantos. I think they're cool. So yeah, let me know what's in your pocket. And as Jim just put up, our good friend Ben is going to be on the podcast talking about, well, you'll see what he's talking about. Well, okay, there it is. Out of the bag. Jack Wolf Knives, his brand that he's started, making beautiful traditional patterns with his own twist and modern materials, with excellent modern day manufacturing. You'll find out from whom if you don't already know. So definitely check that out. Cold Steel Code 4 Tanto is amazing. Agreed. Hey, does anyone know, is Code 4 the code for all is safe? What does that mean, Code 4? I know it's like a police thing. James says, you've seen a lot of my knives, Bob, not primarily for bushcraft for sure. No, but I still feel like, you could do it. Little late, sorry guys, Facebook user. Well, it's all right. We're going to be here a little while. Let us know, Facebook user, what you're carrying. By the way, if you come in through Facebook, I don't believe you can put your name up, so I'm not sure who you are right now. Michael says there's a really nice Hogue Tanto. Hogue Tanto. Yeah. Oh, that new one. I think it's coming to me through the Apex group soon. Everyone under control. Everyone under control equals Code 4. Huh, that's cool. So is that like if you're in a crowd situation? Delicious coffee. Everyone under control. I like that. Code 4. All right. Well, I got rid of my drop point Code 4, and that is an excellent knife. The Knife Junkie. If you're watching on Facebook, you have to give StreamYard permission for us to be able to see your name. I got you. That's me. Okay, so if you're coming in through Facebook, be sure to give permission to Facebook or to StreamYard through Facebook to show your name. That would be excellent. So we have someone in the wings waiting to come on and say hello. We have Ben. Ben, are you around? Hogue Sig Sauer. Gotcha. Hey, Ben, how's it going, sir?
Bob, it's going good. How are you?
Going great. It's Thursday night. I love it. I love Thursday night knives. Mark Herrera, Off-Grid Viper, and Case Tribal Lock. Nice. I like the Tribal Lock. What do you think of the Tribal Lock pattern? You being our resident traditional expert.
The Tribal Lock. So the Zulu spear, right? Lock back Zulu spear.
Yeah.
What's not to like? I mean, it's a quintessential spear point blade, I would say, of our more modern era. The Tony Bowes Zulu spear. And they call it the Tribal Lock, I think, because Tony's name is the Zulu spear. Right.
Okay. I always kind of assumed that it was a generic name, but I see what they were doing there. They didn't want to bite off his stilo, I guess.
Right.
EDC Tanto's got the Guardian Tactical Helix Tanto in the pocket today. Yowza, those Guardian Tacticals are so sweet. Slicey's been showing his off a lot recently. Crazy Knife Freak, aka Peter B. Big Bob, what's up? How you doing, Crazy Knife Freak? I'll call you Peter. It's a little quicker. Great to have you here. We love Tanto blades. Great for self-defense. It can do a lot of damage. Yes, for sure. And over there at Shredder, they know a little bit about that with the collie background for sure. Michael says, "Hey Benny,
what up, Mike?"
Hey, John. John's carrying a Strider PT. Nice little knife. There it is. All right, James. You see this? Hey, Jim, maybe you could go wide on this shot. And Ben, maybe you could hold that right close to the camera so that James can see that beautiful Tanto.
There it is.
Look at that. I mean, is that not
Hollow ground.
Oh, so nice. I do need to get a Chris Reeve Tanto. I've always admired that, the way they did it. I just love how that looks. And it's not all about looks. Unfortunately, I bet it works great too. No, I'm just kidding. That's a small one, right?
Small. I'm in love with these smalls, man. My first one was a regular size, and I thought that was the ticket. And now that I've got a small, I look at the regular, and I'm like, you're going to be collecting dust for a little bit.
Well, it can collect dust over here. The triad lock on my Code 4 is the stiffest out of all of my cold steels. That's interesting, man. You never know which triad lock is going to be stiff, because I have such a broad range from very small to very large cold steels, and like my Raja 2 is like my easiest to undo, and an old Recon that I had was the hardest. Benchmade Super Freak and the Case Panama Trapper. Oh, that Panama, that was a couple of years ago. They did that blue Panama bone. That was beautiful. Case knives. I know, Ben, you've been burned by case knives early on, but they do a beautiful job with their bone, I gotta say. I keep getting, I keep getting caught with that. You know what I'm talking about from our interview. You got to check out the conversation we had. It's awesome. Ben is doing really exciting stuff. Check out the interview this weekend. There is a moment where I say something like, well, just watch the show. I need that hat, Ben, says Oregon Knife Guy. Something tells me that's going to be available.
Yeah, I got some merch on the website. Not this same hat. I actually had this one made at like an embroidery shop near me, but send me a DM on Instagram. We'll figure something out. I'll make sure you get one. I actually have one. It's a flex fit. You know what I mean? Like one of these deals. But I got one in small, medium. This one's large, X large. They come in like small, medium, large, X large. So I got one in small, medium. I don't know what to do with it. So if that's you, hit me up.
Small head. No one wants to admit they have a small head. Quack says, I've been eyeing up the VSEP 3 Tanto that's available at a dealer. I might regret mentioning that here later. He laughs. Well, don't. Yeah, that's a recent thing, right? The VSEP. Oh no, the V3, because VSEPs are now in Flipper, Tanto, like Les George. That's a great little bit of foreshadowing for a knife I'm going to show off in a little while. Michael says, Hogue X5 Harpoon Spear Point. Ooh, nice. And a Case Sodbuster Jr. Well, Michael, great minds think alike, sir. That's what I was carrying today. If you missed it. No, you didn't miss it. You were here. Is yours the yellow Delrin with the CV blade? This thing is really stout. Some cases, the case is a mixed bag. Some of them are awesome and many of them are not, but this one is awesome. John, how's it going? You said something before. You were telling me what you're carrying, and I carried the Ace Biblio in carbon fiber to the office today and switched to the cold steel 8010 when I got home. Work-life balance. Yes, sir. I do get that. Though at my workplace, yes, I don't carry large knives at my workplace. Civivi Brazen Tanto Murdered Out version. Okay, so that's the knife I was thinking of before. Hey, John, how's it going? Thank you for bringing that back into my mind. My old mind. It's the new Brazen. Brazen? See, I can't even remember what you just said. But yeah, it is a very cool new Tanto. Yeah, the Brazen. Yeah, I really like the shape of it and the handle, and it's it's an inexpensive knife. Ben, what were you carrying today?
So yeah, this is my newest horse in the stable, and I love this thing. I don't think I have, until I got this, a Tanto folder. I got fixed blades like that cold steel SRK.
Oh yeah.
But this is my first folding Tanto, and it's not going to be my last. So I carried this, and then I carried this one.
Oh God, that thing is gorgeous.
Focus.
While you're focusing, so this is a TC Barlow with that ram's foot blade, right?
That's a lamb's foot.
Lamb's foot. Why do I always say ram's foot?
The ram's foot's the big one on the 93.
Oh, okay.
So this was a series he did called the Ancient Barlow. and it was like totally unique. You know, new blade shape, and they induced aging on them. Like, I don't know exactly how they did it. They did like a salt bath on them to rust up the bolsters and patina the blades.
Wow.
And if you guys want to see, obviously on my Instagram, there's like some pretty good pictures of these.
Yeah, you've been posting quite a few of those pictures of that with the cross cut.
Scratted.
Wait. Jim, can you go back to 2 comments? Someone mentioned the Ryu. There we go. David mentioned the Ryu. God, look at that. That is gorgeous. Man, I love that handle.
Scratch that in by hand.
Wow.
That's
So,
cool.
so David mentioned he just got the Fox Ryu, and the Fox Ryu, or Ryu, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, is a new production, one of 2 new production knives by our good friend Ken Vehikite over at Black Rock Knives. This is my custom monkey thumper from him. The Ryu is a kind of a traditional upswept tanto-y knife. I just purchased one too, and we are going to auction that off to benefit Ken Vehikite, who has had a serious health issue recently. Well, I'll say it. It's not a secret. He had a stroke, and he supports his family with his knife making. So we're going to auction off the Ryu when that comes in. I just ordered it from Blade HQ last night, along with a little something for myself. And we're going to auction that off, see how much money we can get for that knife. I figured it made good sense to auction off one of his knives, though I couldn't part with this. So we're going to auction off one of his new Fox collaboration knives, and then send the proceeds to his GoFundMe to help with the costs incurred, medical costs and stuff like that. So I'm glad David brought up the Ryu, because that would have slipped my mind, and that's why I had this out at the ready to remind me. So thank you, David. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Bob.
Yeah. Hey, Dave. How's it going? Good to see you, sir. So, Ben, what were you saying?
Well, you want to introduce our friend here before we switch gears?
We all know Dave.
I need no introduction.
All right, good. I just didn't want to steal your thunder.
All right. Well, just in case you do, this is Dave, This Old Sword Blade Reviews. He was on the podcast 2 weeks ago. And by the way, my dad really liked that podcast. I think he liked seeing a guy older than me who can kick ass. And he was like, man, that guy was cool. I was like, yeah, Dad, he is cool.
Well, you invited me on, and I'm only here for one reason, Bob.
Yes, I know. To rub my nose in something. Let's see it.
Let's see. Drum roll.
Oh, yes, indeed.
What's in the box?
And here she be.
Oh, God. Look at that. The Borka design stitch. Oh, wow. I mean, it sounds intense.
I've been looking for one for a while, and they showed up at the local gun store. He said they came in yesterday. They only had one. So this was my opportunity. And figure I'd just come on and tell you to eat your heart out, because I know you've been looking for
one. So what do you think of it? What's your
it's a beast. It's heavier and larger than I imagined. I have seen knockoffs of it, so I'm not a promoter of infringement of copyright, intellectual copyright. So those are gone, and so I had a sense of the size of it.
Mm-hmm.
But those had plastic handles from China. This is the real deal, aircraft aluminum, and it's just it's built like a truck. There's no blade play, no wobble, no nothing. We'll see how it holds up to a lot of openings and closings. And I was watching Bearded Gear's review of it today, and he kept mentioning, all his reasonings as to why they got the hole there.
Uh-huh.
And he thinks it's from the original Borka design. I guess some of them were manuals. They decided to just leave it in.
Plus, if it's a truck of a knife, like you say, it might take a little bit of the weight off.
Well, look at the spine.
God, that thing is beautiful. So if someone were to say, pick 2 Microtechs right now, because this never happens to me, but if someone were to say, look, if you don't pick 2 Microtechs right now, you're never going to get one ever again. It would be that. And what do you think the other one would be? Dave, you probably know.
SOCOM.
No, I have one, and that's scratch that itch. It would be their auto karambit designed by Bastien Coves.
Bastinelli.
Bastinelli Creations. God, that thing is cool. It's got the button right on the ring.
You can't get those either.
No,
can't get them.
Imagine my shock. David says carrying the SOG flipper, Perrin dagger necker. I love Fred Perrin, and fixed SOG Tanto Seal XR. Man, David's carrying, and I know he was interested in acquiring some cool tactical knives, and I think you can't go wrong with Perrin. The Fox Monkey Thumper stock sheath isn't that great. Mine jiggles at least a 1/4 inch, but I love the knife anyway. Yeah, sometimes you just kind of have to make a new sheath for these knives or have a new one made. Sometimes they just get the sheath wrong. But Dave, thank you. I'm not ushering you off, but I know you might need to leave. But thank you. Just one more time, if you would go wide and just rub my nose in it one more time. I want to hear it open again.
The box?
No, the knife. You tease.
Bob, I'll send you the nice brochure they put in it.
Oh, the brochure.
Yeah.
That'll hold me. Look at this thing.
See if we can get a little better light on it. I don't know if that works.
I think Borka's knives. I can't remember what's his first name? Sebastian Borka, something like that. His knives are just so cool looking, just so beautiful. And then you add the engineering.
He does that weird faceted look to the blades. What do they call it? Kind of a distressed look.
Oh yeah. I mean, it sounds like
it wants to come out of your hand. You got to hang on to it. I love the ability to choke up on it, and it's the jimping inside the choil. Kind of neat.
Wow. Well, I want right of first refusal if you decide to rid yourself of that ugly and boring knife. Let me know.
Well, there's always the large Dragotech.
Okay.
Not saying.
Not saying. Yeah, it's something we could talk about in the future.
Good to see you, Bob.
All righty, Dave. Good to see you too, sir. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. What autos? Can you carry autos?
Oh yeah, Arizona. You can do it pretty much anything you want in this state as long as you're not a felon.
I'm moving to Arizona or Florida one of these days because, man, like non-restrictive knife laws, you look them up. Hinder, hey, what's up? I know you with Skywarp, man, but I will call you Hinderer Collector 41 if you like. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you here. Interesting story about Rick Hinderer. Speaking of Hinderer knife collector, in my home state where I grew up, Ohio, they just passed a law saying that manufacturers can now manufacture switchblades in Ohio, automatic knives. It used to be until last year you couldn't even own them, and then they changed that law, and now you can manufacture them there. And on Tuesday, I believe it was Tuesday, it was the 13th, he had a couple of legislators, and a couple of other folks to his factory for a very sort of ceremonial assembly of his first automatic knife at the plant and at his facility in Shreve, Ohio. And it's thrilling to me that Ohio has sort of shed its antiquated knife laws, and B, that this whole thing happened and that there was a senator there, and actually one of the reps was from the hometown, not my hometown, but the town that my folks now live in. And it was just cool to see, and to see them in his factory and understanding that these are jobs for people, real jobs for real people, and they're making real tools, and it's not some scary thing, knife maker and, a switchblade. So I was thrilled to see this Akron Beacon Journal article today. So I picked up the phone, gave Hinderer Knives a call, and as usual, went into voicemail and just begged him. I want him to come on the show so badly, and I've tried to get him on many, many times, and hasn't returned my call yet. I'm sure he will at some point when he's ready to talk, or who knows? Maybe he's seen the show and he's like, I'm not going to talk to that guy, but I'd love to talk to him because I love his knives. For instance, I got this and this just lurking close by because I knew I would be talking about Rick Hinderer and I would want to pull out one of these beauties. Hey, so you carried today the small Sabenza Tanto. What do you think of the Wharncliffe, which is to me kind of in the same, I don't know, I put them kind of on the same shelf as the Tanto, even though it's got a very different, always a pleasure, Dave. It has a very different look and use, but something about it reminds me. Do you like the Wharncliffe blades on these kind of tactical knives?
Yeah, well, I got the Insingo. Now, what would you call that on a Chris Reeves? It's almost like a sheep's foot.
It's like a sheep's foot.
It has a sharpened tip, though, or a front edge. So I don't know what the heck that is. Yeah,
I think I would call it that. I live in Massachusetts. Super proud of TRM keeping knife making alive here. Definitely. And Scott, if you haven't, and not to keep plugging my own show, but if you haven't seen the podcast, you haven't listened to the audio podcast with Marianne Halpern of TRM or seen the town hall that we did with her, she's awesome. And it's great to hear her talking about making knives in Massachusetts, which, has some restrictive laws. What does that say? What did that say, Jim? But yeah, I've always wanted that Insingo bladed. I need to broaden my Chris Reeve knives collection, I think. Yeah, right. That's what I really need to do. Professor EDC says, hey, Professor, great to have you here from down south. Hello, everyone. Sorry for being late. Jim, Bob, hope everyone is doing well. So how's it going? Well, I'd say it's going pretty well here. I'm doing well. I think we're all doing well, man. I wish you could come up and visit. Tri-State EDC. Howdy. Good to see you. I see Ohio on your logo there. Are you happy? Are you happy about this new automatic can build automatics in Ohio law? I think it's awesome. I'm very excited about that.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
How do you fly with a knife? Like in your check bag? What's your strategy there?
In the check bag. So one thing I did a long time ago, when I was in high school, I went to Germany and brought back some switchblades. And what I did then, I took my brother's advice. He's like, okay, partially empty out a tube of toothpaste, but leave some in there, put them in a saran wrap or plastic bag and stick them in the toothpaste. And so I did that. But back then it didn't really matter. You could just kind of throw it in your bag and they didn't care. But now what I do is I will put it in a pair of socks, like a pair of socks. And then I'll put that inside a shoe. And then I put the shoe kind of around the edge of like I usually travel with a garment bag. So kind of put it along the edge of the garment bag where there is other metal that kind of keeps it from collapsing, and just kind of hope that it just looks like, because it's not illegal to put it in there, but you don't want prying eyes. You don't want some TSA guy being like, oh, well, look at that. That's pretty sweet. So, yeah, it's always kind of nerve wracking, I have to say, when you get back, opening up the bag and being like, I hope it's there. So, yeah, what about you? What do you do? It's
funny because in the rolled up socks, in the shoe, I'm starting to think like maybe we need to do something different because we're all probably doing that same thing. And the TSA is going to figure it out. But,
yeah.
I think you're right. Chances are your bag get lost or picked off the conveyor belt by someone else. I mean, it's rare, but it can happen. And then if you have it out in the open, TSA guy just, temptation. You don't want to give the temptation.
Yeah.
So I put it in a sock, put it in a shoe, and then make sure that's towards the bottom of everything. So you'd have to really dig in there to get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also too, like when you fly with a knife, you're not going to take your best knife because that risk of it being lost or stolen. You don't want to take a junker because you want to have something good when you're traveling. So I wondered what your thought process was there. Is there one you set aside for when you fly, or how do you calculate that?
Well, I got to say it has, oh God, see, just, it has been the last few years, the pink broken skull, because you can always put them in a pile of dirty underwear. Yeah, that's true. On the way back, you're just, you steal this knife at your risk. So these are two that I've traveled with. The Bug Out is I think it's a great travel knife, especially when you have the cheerful blue handle on it. But to me, I wouldn't be absolutely heartbroken if I lost these. Now, this is a big knife. This is a 4-inch knife, and it's kind of risky to travel with, but I've taken it internationally twice. And that's questionable. I definitely would not recommend that, And I, you don't want to end up in a Dominican prison, which, I likely could have if I was caught with this. And I don't think I would do that again. I think, thanks for that, Bob. Perhaps someday for a Blade show. That would be awesome. That would be awesome, Professor. Love to see you at Blade show. Something like this. It's good. It's capable. It's thin, so it slips in the. Wait, we'll hold that thought on Tri-State EDC. It's thin, and can slip in the waistband because I don't like to show a pocket clip when I'm somewhere else. I just don't like to attract that attention, and so this slips in the waistband easily. It's very capable. It's actually a great food knife. This is a great steak knife. It looks a little weird when you pull it out and cut your steak with it. But yes, Amtrak is great for knife fans. Definitely. I did a lot of Northeast Corridor travel between New York and DC with pretty good selection of knives for years before my wife and I moved in together. But yeah, the Bug Out is also light and thin and capable and non-threatening. So yeah, those are my kind of travel knives if I have to fly somewhere. What about you?
I usually just take one slip joint.
One slip joint.
I could take it anywhere, obviously.
Yep.
Even if you carried it accidentally into a place where you're not supposed to have it, you're not going to bring a police officer over to arrest you for it. It's just like, it's the appearance.
Yeah.
And it doesn't break any laws anywhere, as far as I know.
And worst comes to worst, they're just going to take it from you. Mark is asking if you have many Boker knives, and then I want to go back to Tri-State's comment.
I do not have any experience with them, honestly. I don't own a single one. Haven't handled a single one, but I'd certainly be open to checking them out.
Okay? There's a guy. Maybe someone out there can help me. I'm blocking his name or what his channel is. He lives in Germany. He's an American who lives in Germany, and he does a lot of slip joint reviews. And I trust his judgment just from the videos I've seen. And he has recently talked about Boker and how their like high-end slip joints are outstanding. Tri-State EDC says, I love it. I was raised by the owners of a small Ohio manufacturing company. Cool. Always glad to see Ohio flex its manufacturing muscle. No doubt about that. A lot of it had been taken away from them just due to NAFTA and other stuff. And so it's good to see that kind of stuff come back. They were trying to do that in this here state, but our governor had too many skeletons in the closet and didn't want things to, didn't want to send the wrong optics out. So those people don't get to have jobs. Okay. Hollywood Tactical says, I've been trying to get a pink broken skull for the same reason as you for the past year, ever since I saw it on Jimmy Slash. Any idea where I can find one? No, I have not seen them. There was a period of time where they were the only broken skulls left. They're not doing broken skulls anymore. Now they have the trail Trail Boss, I think it's called, and it's the same profile, except it's in a very different blade steel. It's not CTX XHP. It's something like 4116 Krups or something like that, and it's got super aggressive grivery. You can see the new Jimmy Slash video on that, but no, Tactical, I have not seen those for a while. The pink ones were the only ones that were left for obvious reasons, but I guess people ended up getting them and dyeing the handles or whatever. So but if I see one, I will remember this conversation, and I'll be like a matchmaker, a Yenta.
I saw something really interesting at the ICCE, and I've heard of the concept the first time I saw it. It was a dagger made of no metal, so it was either G10 or micarta or some other synthetic material, and clearly you could get that thing through a metal detector. Wondered if you've ever experienced one of those.
Oh yeah, I got several of them. I have one. I have a large one. Cold Steel has a line of them. And they're great, kind of single-use knives for poking. They don't have much of an edge, but they serrate them, some of them, so that you can actually cut with them. I have a ring dagger over there, and I have one in the bathroom, and I have a plastic karambit in the shower, because like Jason Bourne, I'm frequently attacked in the shower. And so it's good to, but I love those things. They're great to have. I actually wouldn't travel with them, because if you're busted with one, I mean, it's way more menacing than pulling out, just a bug out or something like that. What's your oldest knife, Benny?
I think about that. I don't have really many vintage pieces. I'm sort of a single focus collector. Unfortunately, it makes me kind of dull, I guess. Like, they're all mostly GEC 15s, probably the oldest ones from 2012.
Professor EDC said the Bokers are outstanding. Blade Ogre saying he likes the Range Buster. We're getting a lot of positive, thumbs up on the Bokers. The guys at Shredder say the Sog Instinct is a great non-threatening little fixed blade. Nice. That's an important. Oh, okay. Well, this is a great segue. I want to show a knife that came in today, and it is a small non-threatening fixed blade. And I am a lucky person, because someone reached out to me and asked if I wanted an advanced copy of this knife that's coming out in limited quantities, and it's really cool. All right, so let me just show you. So here it is with the leather sheath. They also sent a Kydex sheath, which was awesome. What do you think this is? Look at the handle. What do you think that is? All right, well, that's a theoretical question. Or a rhetorical question. This is a ProTech fixed blade SBR. SBR standing for short bladed rockeye, not short barreled rifle. And this is the small fixed bladed version of this, which they also make. This is the rockeye. This is from their first run a few years back when they were doing it in CPM D2. And the VSEP. So it's a cousin of these two knives, and I love it. I think it is at once very, very capable, but it is small and cute. And there's something to me that, this was a gift, even though I purchased it, it was a gift to be allowed to be given the opportunity to snag one of these early on. And they're not making many of them. This, as I understand it, is just sort of a passion project with ProTech and Les George. And I'm really thrilled to have it. Thank you, Matt. You know who you are. Thank you so much, Matt. Yes, you do need this ProTech in your life. If you like the small, non-threatening knives, and great for little hands, great for not little, but, growing hands. Let's say growing hands. This would be excellent. Excellent.
How long is the overall length on that? How thick is that blade stock?
Let's see. 6.5 inches overall length, and the blade stock, I don't know. Blade stock is
a little thick.
Blade stock is the same as the ProTech, the Rockeye, but it's not that thin. Not that thick. I should have calipers here to measure this stuff. but I don't. They're over there. But it is. It feels very light and sort of slender in hand. This textured G10 has a really cool pattern that sort of radiates outward from about here, about from the choil. And John says that fixed blade ProTech is beyond awesome. Very lucky indeed. Yes, I am. Thank you. Thank you. It is very, very cool. And I remember Les George himself made a fixed blade version of the V-Sep for a short while, and I tried to get my hands on that and never did. But this is one of my all-time favorite designs right here. I love that design. So to get a small fixed bladed version of that, and to be, the fact that they thought of me and asked if I wanted one, I was just over the moon about it. So this is my one and only state of the collection new knife this week. And actually, it's my only new knife for the past several weeks. And I got a couple of things coming in shortly, which I'm excited to show off. But what a nice little thing. And now check this out. It comes with this. You can buy it with the Kydex sheath, which is to be totally frank, it's a little large. It's a little broad. I prefer a taco construction, and where it's folded over and you only have one side of grommets. And but even so, for a non-taco, I can't remember what you call this.
Pancake.
It is a little wide for my taste personally. They put this excellent Spyderco fixture on it. I love that. I have that on the Fred Perrin Street Bowie right there. I really do like this attachment. Some people think it's kind of ham-fisted, but I like it a lot. And then it comes with this, or you can buy it with this beautiful leather sheath. And this is, I'm not sure who CLW is, but this is the leather maker that Les George works with for his custom knives. It reminds me quite a bit of the Chattanooga Leatherworks knife. Oh, that's what that is. That's not a G, that's a C. This is a Chattanooga Leatherworks sheath. Okay. I have one for my Spartan Harsey dagger, and I just think they're just incredibly beautiful leather sheaths. So as I understand, with the leather sheath, it's going to be $300, and with this, it's going to be like $250. I think that's what they said. So I mean, it's steep. It's pretty steep, but it's quite limited, I guess. So, depending on how you value things and how you orient yourself with your purchases, this might be just, kind of ridiculous, or it could be, an opportunity. I took it as an opportunity, and so I got it, and I got it for less. This is S35VN.
Show off those that jimping, like where your pinky goes on the bottom of the handle. That's like a really cool touch right there.
Yeah, it stands ever so slightly proud of the G10, but even so, your fingers, the fat of your fingers and hands will sink into that space also.
I like that a lot.
Kind of reminds me of the Rapid Strike, how they're not proud at all. They're in there, but you still feel them when you grip it tight. Yeah, I like it too. I think it's great. It's a great place to put it, especially if you need to use this for whatever reason like this. You need to jam it into a 55-gallon drum of oil that's actually containing Uzis. This is you might get that reference, Lavender Pants. This is the way. This is the great place to put that jimping, and the jimping up top, just like the V-Sep and the Rockeye Auto, is that nice broad jimping that doesn't tear up your. Sorry for that nasty blister, but it doesn't tear up your thumb at all. But it really does grip in there. So I'm very, very excited to have this knife. Again, thank you, Matt, for bringing this up. And yeah, cool. I'm going to figure out how to carry it. This thing actually, if I take the Kydex, take the fixture off the belt loop thing off the Kydex, I might just drop this in pocket. This might just be an in-pocket knife because it is so svelte and light and small. And or maybe I get some other little in-pocket sheath. I know Knives Ship Free carries little pocket sheaths, and I think Mike Latham does too over at collectorknives.net. Yeah, so that's the new one for me. I'm very, very excited. Microtech Stitch for Zombie Apocalypse. No doubt about that. What's up? And I'm going to call you by your name.
You can call me by my name.
Hey, Skywarp. How you doing,
What's up, man? What's going on?
Not much. It's good to see you, sir.
It's good seeing you.
How's your... yes, I agree, Scott. That is a gorgeous leather sheath. Check out Chattanooga Leather Works. They make leather sheaths for Spartan blades and many others, presumably. Awesome. Skywarp, do you have anything? How's your Hinderer collection?
Let's just say.
There we go. College education right there on that table. Hey, Zach, good to have you, sir. So I
came up here. I'm sorry to interrupt, but the one thing I came up here is Hinderer did a great job by legalizing automatics.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hang on one second. I just want to say goodbye to Patty. Great to have you here, sir. Check out the Sunday show. I think you will like it for sure. For sure. You being a traditional lover. Okay. You know what I mean. All right. So you were saying you applaud Ohio for making that law.
Yeah. I'm like, finally we're getting a real automatic. Like Rick has already made the prototypes, already made the thing on it, so I don't know what it's really going to look like. No one really knows, but he only knows. But yeah,
what do you suspect it's going to look like?
Well, if it's an XM18, so it's a literal XM18. So the button is probably going to be right here. So all you got to do is just press that, and it just closes and opens.
So what do you think of that? Are you an auto guy?
Well, I mean, I'm a collector, and I love all his knives, and well, I want to get them all.
Okay, all right. So let me rephrase that question. Okay, so XMs, 24s, 18s, they're known for their robustness. Do you think that the automatic nature of it will take anything away from that?
No, because the way your XM24 is, like, if it's gonna be an auto, this is gonna be a very heavy auto, because that blade is so thick it'll take you off you if you wanted to.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be cool in a way, or it could be trial run, I guess you could say, because Rick calls it a trial run for a lot of his knives. Yeah, I think it'll be cool, because this is ones that, he's made automatics over the years when his art knives and all that, but
interesting.
But not a production. He's never made a production version of a auto.
And for those of you and for those of us who love the look of an XM 24 or 18 without the flipper tab, it's going to look like that. It's not going to have a flipper tab, most likely.
Do this.
Yeah, I love that clean look. Hey, do you have any Hinderers, Ben?
I don't. Is he going to make a left-handed one for me one of these days? With
the sword on that? You know what? Yeah. You know what? I asked him that, and he said maybe. That's all he told me. He said maybe.
I'll take.
I would love to have a lefty XM.
Skywarp.
Yes.
I put in my, 6th or 7th call into Hinderer Knives today after I read that article. I want to get him on the show. Maybe you could help me. I think because
I'll be glad to help you.
Man.
I'll ask Rick or his wife to see if we can set up something.
Yeah, or just send him a link to the show. Let him know I'm not a total scumbag, because I've tried to get him on this show. He's one of those people, like I've had a number of guys knife makers on this show who have made big innovations, and that's
Oh,
something
I
I
know. I've seen
love.
we had Greg Medford, Bob Trezola, and
Yeah,
all of these. I've been wanting to meet Bob Trezola. All of my, I mean, I'm a Hinder collector, but Bob Trezola is one of my top favorites too, because I've
oh,
always wanted one of his knives.
phew. So yeah, these innovators are awesome to talk to. Plus, I grew up in Ohio. Um, not that that means anything really, but you know, I feel a kinship, and I love that they're made there. And incidentally, my brother went to school very close by there, and there you go, little fixie, very nice.
Nice little
I like that.
flashpoint. It's a flashpoint. It's a really good. It's a 3-inch flashpoint.
That kind of looks a little bit. It reminded me of like some of Tom Crine's smaller fixed blades,
Oh God,
which I saw at that ICC. That was the closest thing I came to buying as a knife. Was one of
You know, the
Crine's
funny
fixed
thing
blades.
is, Tom
you have
Crane-
to Tri-State. You have to get
Have
a
you?
hinder. In
I gotta ask this to Bob and what is your name again?
Benjamin.
Ben. So have y'all been listening to Mark the Maker?
Mark of the Maker. I haven't listened to it in a little while.
Rick Hinder came on there and he did 2 parts of his how he became a knife maker, and it's really good. Really,
Oh, man.
really good.
So I
Is that a
can't listen
YouTube
to
channel?
It's a YouTube channel, yeah.
it, but it's also a podcast. And
Yeah.
isn't Sean Kendrick a part of that?
Tom Crine and Sean, I think, and I think who else? Somebody else, I don't remember.
Yeah, I see. So I can't listen to that because I can only listen to it after I've interviewed. Like I don't want to listen to anyone else's interviews of people, only because I'm afraid I will start. You know, I'll feel like I've already heard the answer to some of these questions.
Yeah.
And but I really like Tom Crine's work. I really like Sean Kendrick's work, and not for nothing, but he's going to be coming on the show sometime in hopefully in June. I've given him dates in June, but yeah, I mean, both of those guys are so, man, their work is so amazing. So I'm sure that's the kind of person Rick Hinderer wants to talk to, other knife makers, but who knows? Maybe he wants to talk to a fanboy too. So
I mean, believe it or not, I'm making a knife for Rick. So
you are making a knife for Rick Hinderer.
yes, I am.
Is it a fixed blade or
It's a fix? It's a fix.
Right on. What's it look like? Is it close by or?
No, it's in the process right now because it's going to be a buoy with neon green carbon fiber. Actually, I actually have the neon green carbon fiber. Yes, I stenciled that out because I was going to make XM stuff. But
That looks like my Carta.
oh wait, that is my card.
I was like, neon green carbon fiber. Dang, I never seen it look like that.
Here it is. Right, my bad.
That's better.
That's the layered version.
That's cool.
That's funny, man. I was like, oh, my camera must be off again. It doesn't look
No,
green.
no, I was like, when I grabbed, I was like, wait a minute, that's not the right one.
Hey, would you show it off on Thursday Night Knives when it's done? I'd love to see it. I mean,
you know, I got to get the kind of steel that I'm gonna get is Z-Wear, and I'm trying to get some that I can get it quickly and fast because I'm not only making one for Rick, but I'm making one for his wife.
wow.
And yeah.
So, are you a knife maker, a hobbyist? Is this your first knife, or what's the deal with your knife
I
making?
went to a guy. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is Eric. He makes Eric McWright. He makes very, very, very nice looking Bowie knives. He makes them out of Damascus, and they're like showpieces. Really,
and you're
good.
learning from this gentleman.
I went to his shop and got to make a few of them with him, and I'm making a folder with him, and it's a lefty.
Dude,
And
how cool!
Yeah, he's literally making it just for me because he doesn't know how to make lefties yet, but I'm the first one, and he did for me.
Hey, Skywarp, were you here earlier? Do you know anything about Ben's story? What Ben's working on right now?
No, I just came on not too long ago. opened my computer and I saw you went live, and I was like, okay, I missed a lot because I don't know what went down.
Well, Ben, give Skywarp the quick and dirty of what you're working on.
Yeah, so doing my dream project, I started a company called Jack Wolf Knives, named after my grandfather who gave me my first knife and planted that seed. I'm designing slip joint knives in CAD, the traditional patterns that everybody loves, but we're making them. Riyadh's making them, so I'll share that little nugget with you guys. And they're going to be titanium liners with integral fluted bolsters, M390 hollow ground blades, micarta scales, and also some other cool, unique materials we'll figure out down the road. And yeah, modern twist on the traditional patterns.
How cool! So I have two. One making one making knives, and one designing and having knives made, and I think that's pretty cool, man. I feel like I'm on the ground floor of some awesome stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started wanting to make, I made them out of files, bastard files, and I just made one day, and I was like, whoa, and then went online, found a lot of people that are making them, and decided to make some.
Yeah, oh, Ben, you dirty boy, put me down for one. So when you say bastard file, you're saying files that just are not very nice files? No,
I
know. Or files without
Nicholson
parents.
file. It's a Nicholson file. I just get from the hardware store, and then just basically redo it and refile it the way I want it, and I basically just use just a cheapo sander outside, and there I go.
Yeah. Monster says Jack Wolf Knives looks awesome on IG. It does. And also check out Jack Wolf Knives website. It's a very nice website, by the way, Ben. I like the setup and it's got a very nice clean look, but also it has 11 of your models. Do you have the 12th one up yet that you were working on?
Not yet. I don't have it up yet. So
okay. So
I usually before I put them up, I like to get the drawings approved. So the one that I render and I put up isn't going to change, but
get approved by the manufacturer.
Right. So it's not a draft that I go through the process of like calling them all in. But because I showed it on your show and it's on the, I gave the sneak peek on the podcast for Sunday, I'm going to put it up this weekend.
Cool. Yeah, I am psyched for this podcast to come out. I think your designs are beautiful, and I love all of those patterns are patterns I love, some more than others, but they're all super appealing to me. And I love to see and hear about the modern twist, modern twist being the integral liner / fluted bolsters with micarta and hollow ground M390 people, hollow ground on slip joint. That you don't see that much, I gotta say. I have some cases that are hollow ground, and my Medford Gentleman Jack is deeply hollow ground. Beautiful. That's a beautiful knife, by the way. All modern, but not in a traditional pattern. And I love it. I love hollow ground blades, first of all. Second of all, something that I didn't think of, but I noticed with the Gentleman Jack is that a hollow ground blade on a slip joint also helps pinch it open. You have that sort of natural sort of handle there or that natural sort of concave thing to grab onto to open up. And I really, really like that. So I think it's going to be sweet. Hollow ground. So what are you selling that? Because that's not a hinderer. That's
it's
just
a hinder design.
I know, I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. My first ZT, I wish I still had it. It was the 05206. Gentleman Jack is on my wish list. It's awesome. It is very expensive, but it's awesome.
I have a Medford.
Do you? Which one?
The Enbelay.
Enbelay. Oh yeah, I know that one. I think
it's not my favorite. I just bought it because it was cool.
Yeah, I used to dislike them and think they were crazy designs, and then I ended up getting my first hinderer. I was like, okay, I get it. Professor EDC says, oh yeah, hollow ground on a slip joint. The Rough Rider Sowback is hollow. Sweet. Yeah, I love that hollow. Is that that's a Slippy right there?
That's
Yeah.
a Slippy.
Oh, really?
That is a pretty
No half
much you
shot,
just
eh?
no, actually, well,
I'm just
yeah,
teasing.
that's somewhat. I mean, not much.
How's the spring feel on that? Like how much
You
weight
know,
does it take to
when
get it open?
to be honest, like with just just one hand, it just feels like it's really nothing. But like it has a spring, like a real good tension. Like if I pull real hard, it just comes up. But yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I like it.
Well, luckily, hey, Lindy
Cool.
Lou, how's it going? Good to
I'm
have you
gonna have to
here.
get my hands on one of those and feel what
They're
that thing's all about. I didn't know that existed. That's pretty
200,
sweet.
$275. That's how
Oh.
much they are.
Send me 3.
Av-
I'll take 4 right
available?
now.
Are they in stores?
The only blade shape is the slicer, the spanto, and the sheep's foot. That's the only ones.
Yeah, I think they are pretty much available. And the cool thing, actually, Ben, you might like this, is that also comes in the 01 tool steel and the walnut stock. What's that called? What's that called? Skywarp.
One tool steel and
Yeah, what does he call that? Like that
vintage.
vintage. Yeah, you might like that because look at that 01 steel. It looks like it's what is it? Parkerized like an old rifle, and it's got that.
Pretty much, yeah. It's Parkerized and
That's sweet. What is that model called? Do you call it a Slippy?
it's called
or you just
what it is when so I don't want to take up your time, but it's like the vintage series is basically like, you know, ever seen the M1 Grands, the old
Of course.
wood that's been smoothed down for years and years and years, and this is untreated wood, walnut, and yeah, you have to like literally oil it once in a while, and that is why I bought some linseed oil,
Yeah, right on.
and I
It's also
usually
good for
put
painting.
that on it once every year.
Ben, here's a little. It's not a spoiler, but here's a little foreshadowing of the podcast on Sunday. Ben was talking about how he lives in a very arid environment out in Arizona, but ordered a slip joint from a very humid area from a custom maker down in Brazil, and from Brazil,
Yeah.
and it got to him, and the wood freaked out. The wood was used to being in a humid environment. It was worked and fit into the knife in a humid environment, and then when it got up to Arizona, it constricted and pulled on the pins, and you couldn't even open the blade.
Right. Yeah. That happened on an ivory knife. Locked up the knife, and the wood knives. It pulled the liners off the back spring, and so I had gaps along both sides of the back spring.
What that is?
I'm always.
What that is like if it's celluloid, that will ruin your whole entire knife. But if it's mammoth ivory, it will do that. But with wood, it warps and it bubbles, and then it starts, you know, kind of waving a little bit. But yeah, it'll start doing that over time if you put it in humid climates like that.
Well, and a concern for you, Ben, is going to be once you have a stock of knives in Arizona, and you send them to places like humid Virginia, for instance. You know, it's like with cameras, you know, if you have a camera inside the air conditioning, you go out on a hot, humid day, it's gotta regulate over 20 minutes or so that you're not fogging up. It's kind of a similar concept. You're going from Arizona to Virginia, for instance, with a wood or natural material like that. It's going to take a little bit of regulating.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's why I'm much more comfortable starting with micarta and other impervious materials to get started. Until, you know, someone was telling me, I've been trying to learn more about this. They have stabilized woods, which is a process where they impregnate wood with resins. And those are supposed to be, you know, way better as far as combating shrinking and swelling. But I'm not going to be satisfied till I do my own testing. Yeah.
Well, Jim brought up another thing that we were going to talk about, and that is this law in Texas. It's not a law; it's a state. It's a state bill House Bill 4415, where they want to lock every knife up in a glass cabinet that's for sale. And I first was thinking, and this is on Knife Rights, and Doug Ritter is like, emergency, we gotta do something about this, urgent action alert. And I was like, what's the big deal? And then I realized, well, I didn't realize, I read the article, and it explains it, that this isn't just when you go to Walmart and want to pick up a Kershaw. It's every, it's knife shows, it's gas stations, it's small places that might not have the money or room to put their little tiny case knife thing in a new glass case. It's really it seems like an innocuous bill, but when you actually think about the implications to small business owners or knife shows or that kind of thing, it's kind of ridiculous. And he talks about in this that one of the arguments during the public hearing on this was a very emotional plea by some lawmakers who were taking advantage of a tragedy. Someone who was murdered in a Walmart because someone had access to a knife in Texas.
I actually heard about this. I live in Texas, so it's I've seen about this on Knife Rights, and people don't realize they're that stupid to literally put. Yes, you should put knives behind glass cabinets, but you shouldn't let people open them. Let the consumer open them and then look at them, and then all of a sudden you murder somebody with it,
But also, think every Walmart I've ever been in has a kitchen section with a lot of very large knives.
That's true.
That you could just walk right up to, take it, just stab it right through the clamshell, and so that means that all that stuff would be locked up, or is that stuff still allowed to be? Or you could actually take a cooking fork, a meat fork. Take that, you could kill someone just as easily with a meat fork. So what are they going to take everything sharp and everything pointy and put it behind glass? I'm starting to see. What about a bill at flea markets? That's another thing.
That is true. Some people in the flea markets in all these trading things, you don't see them put them behind glasses. But then when people come by you, they can't actually sneak in there and take it, and they can do whatever they want to do with it. But
I learned something interesting, Bob.
Yeah.
So I was talking to one of the representatives from Blade Show, and they moved Blade Show west from Portland to Long Beach. And I said, "Why? What about
Imagine
Phoenix?"
my shock.
No.
I
was like, "What about Phoenix? Wasn't Phoenix maybe a little more, fitting of the culture? Let's just say." And she's like, "Phoenix was our first choice, but they have a law in Arizona that all knives have to be behind glass cases, and that wasn't going to work for the Blade Show." I was like, man, talk about a disappointment from my state.
Yeah.
We lost Blade Show West. And my buddy works for, it's Sheraton, but now it's like the Marriott group of companies. He works in their convention space. He confirmed, he's like, we were bidding on that. We were putting packages together to earn business for Blade Show West, and they bailed on us because of these laws about glass cases. I'm like, I can't believe that's a thing.
I wonder if that's happening in my state here in Virginia, because used to be you could walk into Walmart and they'd be hanging in clamshell packages, and now they're it's so rinky dink. I don't know. Now they have them in glass cases, and they're just sort of, I don't know, like they'll have a knife and it's kind of just like sitting in a clear plastic cup, and it's like, I don't want to buy that. Like, I would rather not buy it. And I would rather not flag down an employee, which will take a half hour in the first place, to get this cheap knife that is so unceremoniously or just so unenthusiastically displayed. Not interested, but I think that might be happening here, because I've noticed that going on. Though I've gone into, what about Home Depot? Home Depot sells a slew of sharp and pointy objects, from carpet and mat knives to those hooked carpet knives, like the fight scene in Eastern Promises. They sell those double-edged, serrated on one side daggers that are used for duct work. I mean, they sell a lot of. And then pocket knives. So what are they going to do? Are they going to make Home Depot display them in glass cases. It's just not practical. You know, you have a contractor going in there. He's got, he or she has a small amount of time to get their stuff and get out and get to the work site. They're going to have to flag down one of these people to open up the case. I just think it's a little impractical.
Discrimination.
And it's expensive too. It just adds expense at a time when people cannot afford expense, like extra stupid expense. You know, it's shocking to me. And you know, like, well, anyway,
Zach's right there. Zach's exactly right.
First step in getting them removed altogether. Right.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Gee, I wonder where else they're doing that. Oh, come on, man. Well, anyway, this one is now mine. Did I mention that last week? I am so proud of this.
Oh, you bought it?
I did. Joe,
that thing's sweet.
I know. He knew what he was doing when he sent it. I just want you to check it out. Thanks, Joe, the knife whisperer. He's a smart man. This was a strategic loan out. He knew I wouldn't be able to send it back to him. That mother of pearl button. Give me a break. This thing is so awesome. But I'm terrified to carry it because I don't want to sully this side yet. You know, it'll happen, but it's like a car, you know, after the first ding, you're like, okay, I don't have to park it at the end of the parking lot. I can just, you know, get as close to the store as possible. Groovy. Yeah. Are you talking about that handle? It is groovy. This G Mascus is very interesting stuff, or G Carta. I'm sorry. G Carta. I've been following them on Instagram ever since I got this knife, and they just make cool stuff. Really, really cool stuff. Such an awesome Protect Strider. I would say thank you, but I didn't make it. So I guess I was looking at Blade HQ. They used to have these. It's absurd. What about hammers? Thank you, Professor EDC. That's my you know, ride along weapon of choice. I have a hammer in both doors of my car. One's a claw hammer, one's a ball peen hammer, and you know, to me, they are equal. They are weapons, you know, and so, you know, what is next? What about hatchets? You can just walk right into Walmart and get a hatchet. You know,
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't want to give them ideas, but you know, what about you can pick up a kettlebell and swing it and bash someone's brains in? You know, like. All right, let's not get too. You know, everything's going to be under nerfed up and bubbled and behind glass if this conversation continues. Look, we have about a few more minutes here before I retire. I am shooting 6 PSAs tomorrow, all in languages I don't speak. So I'm going to need my wits about me tomorrow. But before we get to that, I want to do a knife fight. Are you guys up for a knife fight?
I'm up for a knife fight.
All right. We have neck knife versus boot knife tonight. Neck knife versus boot knife. I can't believe every week I come up with a knife fight and I'm like, we've done that. I'm like washers versus bearings. We did that ages ago, you know, Tanto versus Bowie, done it, you know. And then I realized we've never done neck knife versus boot knife. And they're both kind of, stash knives that you stash away and hide, that you only pull out in a moment of urgent need, you know, and it's there to stick into something that's bothering you, you know. So can I count on you two to Michael has already chosen a winner. So neck, who wants to choose neck? You've already got one vote.
I'll do
He
neck.
got the neck knife. He can do neck.
Okay. Yeah, that is a sweet little neck knife. All right. So Ben, are you up for doing boot or do you need to judge? What's
I'll do the boot knife.
All right. Excellent. All right. So this is how it works. 1.5 minutes of time on the clock to state your case. And let me see who goes first. We're going to
Flip a coin.
Yeah, I never have a coin around, so we're going to flip a credit card. All right. All right. So, all right, Ben, since you were on first, you choose heads or tails. Heads is the front of the credit card. Tails
I'll
is the
take
back.
the CCV on the back.
All right. All right, it landed heads up. So
All right, so he gets to choose.
Skywarp, you get to choose.
I'm gonna do neck knife.
Oh yeah,
No, you get to go
you
choose
get to
first
choose
or
whether you
second.
go first or yeah.
On what?
Do you want
Who
to debate
debates first?
first or second?
I would do second.
Okay.
All right.
So Ben, you are up first, and you are doing the boot knife in 3, 2, 1. You're on.
The boot knife has several distinct advantages over the neck knife. Concealability of the boot knife. The boot knife is always concealed. The neck knife, not necessarily, because if you have only one garment with a neck knife, you might print through the garment. You can see the strap around the neck. Also, a neck knife, if it's worn out in the open, if it's worn under the shirt, it's very slow to draw, where a boot knife is always fast to draw. You can catch someone off guard going for your boot knife. You can pretend like you're going down to pick something up off the ground or tie your lace if your boot has a lace and you've got it in your hand. You can come up from the ground straight up into somebody. So while the neck knife may seem convenient that it's close to your chest, it's actually rather inconvenient because you're either displaying you have it or it's hard to get to under your shirt, where the boot knife is fast to draw and always concealed.
Ooh, a fine argument and delivered in 1 minute.
Great. To the point.
Ooh. All right, Skywarp, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, your time begins in 3, 2, 1.
I think the neck knife is good to have when you have like when you're moving and you need a knife. Somebody says, "Oh, I need a knife," and you got 4 hands. They can't just reach in your pocket and just grab. That's just weird. You just take it out of your pocket, out of your sheath, and then that's basically what you can do with them. That's basically my opinion on it. They're great to have. These are very great to have in any need for anything because they're there. Like, yes, a folder, you could have a folder, but this is way better because it's right here. Every day when you're walking every day, it's just like jewelry. That's all it is. It's basically, a neck knife jewelry, and it's easy to draw for whatever you want to do with it. That's pretty much what it is.
Well, all right. Another fine argument delivered in 1 minute. I will give you my take on things, as I want everyone to comment and say, if you're there, who you think won this argument, and also, yeah, neck for me, says John. So I too would choose the neck knife because I carry a work ID and I have one behind my neck knife, my ID all the time, but I don't always wear boots. I have a pair of boots that I love. They're those Red Wings. They're awesome, but they're not very tall boots, so I can't really stash a knife in them. However, I have seen the little tiny cold steel push daggers laced into the front of someone's boots, and I think that's kind of cool. It's also a little bit of an advertisement there. Mark says that he agrees with Ben on the neck knife issue. I mean, on the boot knife issue. Hard to pull the knife in my slippers. Hard to put the knife in my slippers, says Hawaii Knife and Gear. I got to go with the neck knife. I personally, man, I do like neck knives, and I think that they hide pretty well. And I think, you could, if you needed to, you could tear your shirt open to grab it, but I know what you mean about reaching up under your t-shirt. That's not the easiest thing to do. But at the same time, I will agree with Skywarp on the jewelry aspect of it. I mean, who among us hasn't said, I wonder what knife I'm going to wear today? I mean, carry today, and that really comes true with the neck knife because, it is a matter of wearing it. And it is right here in your center, easier to reach than there. So boot, draw it from a nap.
I think the boot knife is a better concealed weapon whereas the neck knife is more of a handy utility option. Now
Yes.
granted,
Yeah.
you need a boot to have a boot knife, right? But if your attire is as such, man, that boot knife is down there and no one knows it's there.
Right, because presumably you're not tucking your pants into your boots.
Right, and you can even get
Hey,
patted
incognito.
down and get in somewhere with that boot knife in your boot.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't get down in your boot, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
has its place.
Yes, John, you did unfortunately miss the knife giveaway. You missed most of the show, I think, if you just joined us, because we just did our knife fight, and I'm all tuckered out over here at midnight. But we had this beautiful Kubi Raven, and our good friend Nick Martino won this tonight. So Nick is the new owner of this. Awesome. I love.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Is that like a burlap?
It's a green burlap micarta.
Dude, that's sweet.
Yeah, and you got the green burlap backspacer here with the very discreet lanyard post. You have a milled titanium pocket clip, a very, very ergonomic and comfortable handle, which I keep saying I doubted until I put it in hand because of this backstrap, which reminds me of the Bad Monkey, which I don't find very comfortable in hand. But they did it right by terminating this swale here before the ricasso, and then so this area here kind of evens everything out. It's very, very comfortable, and not for nothing, but that blade is thinly ground and just beautiful. So I'm very happy for Nick, but sad to see this go. This has been kind of hanging out in the box on my desk, but I pull it out. I've shown it a number of times since Dave, this old sword, sent it here for giveaway. So I haven't carried it, so there are no scratches here, Nick. You'll be happy to know. No scratches on that pocket clip. And yeah. So John, next time, I hope it's you next time. Such a great looking Kubi, he says. Yeah, that is the Raven. And I was looking at Kubi, and there are a lot of cool Kubis out there. And Chris, I agree with you. Neck knife. As a matter of fact, I was talking to my dad today on the phone about neck knives, and he was fascinated. So I'm sending him two just to check out. Well, I'm giving them to him, but he doesn't have any. So I'm going to send him this minimalist, which I carried for years behind my work ID. This is the little Warncliffe. Such a great knife. Alan Foltz designed that tiny little handle with those three grooves. Really fits perfectly. Thank you, John. You have a wonderful night too, sir. We're about to end things here, but this neck knife is really great. These CRKTs are awesome. And then I'm going to send my dad also this. This is the Cold Steel. I don't know what they call it. Cold Steel Zero Ground Dagger in AUS 8. What is this? The Hideout. This thing, I got it on a lark. It was like $13 or something on an Amazon order. I was like, yeah, why not? Just throw it on there, see what it's like. And it is a great little handy. Well, I mean, I haven't really used it.
I did want to say something too, Bob. What's your opinion on artisan knives?
I limited but very high. I have an artisan. The only artisan that I own is the kinetic tool, the thing that's like it's like a switchblade and a balisong, and the blade part is that thing is awesome.
I have the tradition.
Okay. It is a very, very beautifully engineered, and it's just a beautiful thing. I can't really call it a knife, but I've also I had a CJRB that was the Tala that was like $35 and amazing. And then I've had the Artisan Centauri just on loan, and that was awesome. I love that. So I think Artisan is good. I know there's been some talk about how they've been ripping off designs or something like that. I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to. Another great neck knife is the Schrade, says Hawaii there. Eggs and Ham too. Wow, I am super late. Yeah, Eggs and Ham. You are. But you know what? The beauty is you can rewatch it or just join us next week because we'll be here.
Because I've heard a lot of different design makers. I was in a First Monday, and they had this Spec Tech knives, and they had Beyond knives. I don't know if you've heard of those.
Uh-uh.
They're pretty cool. And they're
Are
pretty-
they artisan brands?
No,
Are
no,
they,
no, no.
Oh,
They're made in the U.S. And they're D2
Oh.
steel. It's not bad.
oh, they're made in the U.S.
Yeah.
Would you? Can you send me information on that?
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Okay, I'd really be interested in checking that out because cool budget knives made in the United States. I'd love to see what that's all about
And they're
because
really nice.
it seems like it seems like it's about time for that to happen. You know, kind of catch up with some of the stuff happening in China. Hawaii says artisan stuff is very well made. I had the large tradition in brass, and it's a tank.
Ooh.
Also, like the large shark. All right, gentlemen, I am pulling into the station officially, so I'm gonna say farewell and thank you both of you guys for joining me tonight. It was awesome,
Anytime.
awesome as always having you guys, and then everyone out there who's watching and commenting. You know, you're all the heart of the show. It's great to have you here and to interact. I love it. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me, and also. Big thanks to Jim behind the switcher, who's just kills it every time. Every time the show looks better and better and better, and his directing chops are just awesome. So thank you, Jim. Much appreciated. And to all you here watching, join us here next week, Thursday Night Knives. Also check out Sunday, our interview with Ben about Lone Wolf Knives and other things.
Jack Wolf.
I'm Jack Wolf. I'm sorry, Lone Wolf.
It's getting late for you there, bro.
It is indeed. It is Jack Wolf Knives, amazing traditional designs with a modern twist. Definitely check that out. It was a great conversation, a lot of fun to have too. So for Jim behind the switcher, I'm Bob, the Knife Junkie DeMarco, saying, don't take dull for an answer.